She asked me to tell it simply, without extra sentiment. Though I want to warn you, simple does not always mean easy to hear. Evelyn Ross was 36 years old when she walked out of her father's 70th birthday gala in a simple black dress, her mother's pearl earrings, and a leather folder locked in her car. Behind her, 250 guests in a ballroom built on her mother's work. In front of her, a parking lot and a phone call that would change everything. 10 minutes earlier, Celeste Ward Ross, her father's wife, had leaned into the microphone and said one sentence to the room: "Security, please escort her out before she embarrasses this family any further." 250 people turned in their chairs. Two security guards moved toward Evelyn from the side of the ballroom. Her father stood 3 steps away, close enough to say, "Stop," close enough to say, "That is my daughter." He looked at Evelyn, then then down at the floor. That was the moment Evelyn stopped waiting. She placed a small wooden box on the nearest table, gently, because the key inside had belonged to her mother and deserved better than their ugliness. Then she turned and walked out. But before I tell you what happened in the parking lot, you need to understand what Evelyn's mother had built and why no one in that ballroom had any idea it existed. Evelyn's mother was named Lillian Vale Ross. She was an architect and a preservationist, a woman who spent her career saving old buildings that careless people had stopped seeing. She found beauty in broken places. She saw possibility in cracked tiles and water-stained ceilings. She used to tell Evelyn, "Never trust the paint. Paint lies. Look at the foundation. The foundation tells the truth." Lillian found the Harbor Crown Hotel when it was nearly condemned. She spent years fighting to save it. Her husband Malcolm knew how to charm investors. Lillian knew how to build something that would last. Then one morning, a stroke. Sudden. Final. 6 months later, Malcolm married Celeste Ward. Celeste did not arrive like a villain. She arrived like a solution. Gentle tones, pale dresses. People called her graceful, patient. But Evelyn learned quickly Celeste's cruelty did not need volume. She only had to rearrange the room. Lillian's blueprints came down from the hallway, too heavy with the past, Celeste said. The drafting table moved to the garage, the books boxed. The photographs disappeared one by one, the favorite chair reupholstered, then replaced. Small things, until Evelyn understood that small things become a burial when they happen every day. Celeste had a son named Nolan. Within a year, he was calling Malcolm Dad. Within 2, people called him Malcolm's boy. He joined the company, got the waterfront office, sat in investor meetings he barely understood. And every gala, every newspaper article, every speech praised a legacy built on Lillian's erased name. Evelyn watched in silence for 20 years. She told herself patience was strength. She told herself one day her father would remember. He never did. 2 months before the gala, a letter arrived. Thick cream envelope, formal letterhead, Bell and Whitaker, attorneys at law. Evelyn stared at the name typed across the front. Evelyn Lillian Ross. No one used her middle name anymore. Her mother's name had been tucked inside hers like a secret no one wanted to say out loud. The message was short. "Ms. Ross, your mother, Lillian Vale Ross, left instructions for you to contact this office upon your 36th birthday regarding the ownership structure of the Harbor Crown Hotel." Evelyn read it 3 times. Her 36th birthday had passed 3 weeks earlier. Her father had sent 8 words. "Happy birthday, Evie. Hope you're well." She had typed back 2 words. "Thank you, Dad." Because anything more would have sounded like asking, and she was tired of asking. The next morning, she walked into Miriam Beale's office on Queen Street. Miriam was in her early 70s, silver hair, eyes that missed nothing. She placed a blue folder on the desk and began to explain. For nearly 18 years, Ross Heritage Hospitality had operated the Harbor Crown Hotel. That was what the newspaper said, what the brochures said, what Malcolm repeated in every interview. Ross Heritage operated the hotel. It did not own the building beneath it. The land under the Harbor Crown, the historic building, the architectural restoration rights, the preservation covenant, her mother's original design documents, all of it placed into Vale Preservation Holdings before Lil died. My mother created a separate legal structure around the building, a wall, a foundation, something Celeste could not redecorate, rewrite, or remove from a hallway. Upon your 36th birthday, Miriam said, ownership of Vale Preservation Holdings transferred fully to you. As of 3 weeks ago, that owner is you. The Harbor Crown Hotel glowed against the Charleston waterfront. Golden light through arched windows, string quartet, champagne towers, 250 guests who believed they were celebrating a vision. The vision belonged to a woman whose name was nowhere in that room. Evelyn stood near the back, in a simple black dress and her mother's pearl earrings, the only pieces of jewelry Celeste had never managed to claim. Nolan spoke first. Legacy, expansion, family values. People clapped. Celeste dabbed at dry eyes. Then Celeste took the microphone. She called Malcolm a visionary, a builder, a man who created beauty where others saw ruin. She thanked Nolan. She thanked investors, friends, board members, event staff. She never said Lillian's name, not once. The woman who had found the hotel, designed its restoration, protected its bones, left behind the legal foundation everyone in that room was standing on, invisible. Something inside Evelyn went cold, not wild, not impulsive, cold, clear. She stood up, walked toward the stage, steadily. Her father's face went pale. Celeste's smile froze. Evelyn was 10 steps from the stage when Celeste leaned into the microphone. Security. A pause. Please escort her out before she embarrasses this family any further. Uncomfortable laugh. The music started again. Outside, the night air hit Evelyn's face like water. She reached her car in the far corner of the parking lot, got inside, sat in the dark. For 60 seconds, she felt it. The humiliation, the anger, the years of being edited out, laughed at, corrected, renamed, reduced. Then she opened her laptop, called Miriam Bell. "Are you ready?" Miriam asked. Evelyn looked through the windshield at the Harbor Crown Hotel, her mother's building, blazing with stolen glory. "Yes," she said, "I'm ready." Within minutes, Miriam sent the transfer confirmations. Evelyn signed each document with her full legal name, Evelyn Lillian Ross. Vale Preservation Holdings formally notified Ross Heritage Hospitality that the operating lease for the Harbor Crown would not be renewed under current terms. The bank financing Nolan's expansion received notice that the collateral he had listed was not under his control. The City Preservation Board received Lillian's original covenant. A cease and desist went out, demanding Ross Heritage stop using Lillian Vale Ross's architectural work without proper credit. When she finished, her hands were steady. By the time dessert was served inside, the foundation beneath their celebration had shifted. She drove home without turning on her phone. When she stepped into her kitchen, she removed her mother's pearl earrings, set them carefully on the counter, turned the phone back on. 68 missed calls. She made tea while the phone vibrated across the table. For the first time in her life, they were desperate to reach her. For the first time in her life, she was in no hurry to answer. 3 months later, at sunrise, Evelyn stood in the lobby of the Harbor Crown Hotel. No champagne, no chandeliers, no Celeste. Just morning light through the arched windows her mother had saved, falling across the tiles she had fought to restore. A small group gathered near the front desk. Miriam, 2 preservation architects, city officials, and her father, standing at the back alone. A bronze plaque was unveiled. Evelyn read the words through tears she refused to wipe. The Harbor Crown Hotel, restored through the vision and work of Lillian Vale Ross, architect, preservationist, founder. Everything beautiful starts with structure. After everyone left, her father walked to the plaque. He touched her name with 2 fingers. "I should have said it years ago," he whispered. "Yes," Evelyn said, "you should have." His eyes filled. "Can I still try?" She looked at him for a long moment. "You can start," she said, by never looking away from her name again. My mother did not leave me a necklace. She did not leave me a diary. She left me the ground. And when the truth finally rose through the floor, everything built on silence collapsed. If Evelyn's story stayed with you today, drop your city in the comments below. And if you know someone who was quietly erased from their own family story, share this with them.